They told me I couldn't grill in my own backyard on land they didn't own under rules I never agreed to. And 3 months later, I was standing in a courtroom watching a judge ask a single question that made their entire story collapse. I remember the exact sound in that room when it happened, that sharp, hollow silence, when people realize power doesn't work the way they thought it did. That was the moment I knew this was never about smoke or safety. It was about control. I'm not the loud neighbor. I've never been the guy blasting music, throwing parties, or daring anyone to say something. I'm the quiet one, the one who reads paperwork, who saves emails, who believes that if you follow the process, it will eventually protect you. At least that's what I used to believe before I learned how far some people will go when they think fear can replace authority. I live in an older part of our neighborhood, a section built years before the shiny new development behind us. When I bought my house, I was very clear about one thing: I opted out of the HOA. It was voluntary in my section, and I chose not to join. That decision is written in recorded documents, filed with the county, signed, stamped, and boring in the way legal truth usually is. The night all of this started, nothing felt dramatic. I grilled a few burgers in my backyard for my daughter. She was graduating, and we were taking photos earlier that day, her cap and gown folded neatly on the patio chair, her smile bigger than the house behind her. No party, no crowd, no music, just charcoal food and one of those rare, quiet evenings where you feel like you did something right as a parent. I cleaned up, shut the lid, and went inside thinking nothing of it. The next morning, just after sunrise, I stepped out with my coffee and stopped cold. Zip-tied to my front fence, right where every passing car could see, it was a bright orange placard. It looked official at a glance: fire hazard, cease and desist, a fake case number, a bold deadline, no envelope, no city seal, no explanation, just theater. For a second I felt that familiar HOA knot in my stomach, that mix of irritation and doubt that makes you wonder if it's easier to comply than question. But something about it felt off, too performative, too eager. I didn't rip it down. I pulled out my phone and filmed it exactly as it was, then went inside and rewound my exterior camera footage. At 6:14 a.m., a woman in a branded polo walked up, her face angled away from the camera, hands moving fast with zip ties. She stepped back, took 2 photos, and walked off like she was checking something off a list. I exported the clip and saved the stills. I didn't know it yet, but that was the first brick in a wall that would eventually bury her case. By noon, the HOA president from the newer section, Linda Parker, posted in the community group, "Protecting families from toxic smoke is not optional." The comments rolled in, some agreeing, some grandstanding. What caught my eye was someone reposting photos from Linda's own backyard the previous weekend. Outdoor fire features lit, heaters blazing, a catered cook station under string lights. The hypocrisy was almost impressive. I didn't comment. I screenshot the thread with the date and time visible and saved it. I sent one email to the HOA's official address, written carefully, calmly, like it might someday be read aloud by someone in a suit. I asked them to confirm whether my property was a member parcel. If they claimed jurisdiction, I requested the recorded covenant binding my lot. I also asked who placed signage on my fence that morning, and I told them clearly not to contact my mortgage company or any third party about my property. I blind copied my archive, full headers and all. Linda replied in under an hour, not with proof, with posture. She wrote that everyone in this neighborhood was subject to standards, that I should stop hiding behind technicalities, and that I needed to comply immediately to avoid enforcement. That was the moment it clicked. This wasn't confusion, it was intimidation. Authority claimed where none existed. I saved the email. 2 days later, a violation invoice arrived by regular mail. It demanded payment within 10 days and threatened collections and lien review. There was a member account number beside my address, an identity they had invented. They cited bylaws, but attached nothing. I photographed the envelope and contents, then pulled my closing packet and the county parcel map showing the HOA boundary, stopping short of my lot line. Printed in color, dated, boring, true. That's when the doubt crept in. I won't lie. I sat at my kitchen table staring at those papers, thinking about my daughter, about my mortgage, about how easy it would be to just stop grilling to make this go away. I asked myself if I was being stubborn for no reason, if peace was worth more than being right. There was a moment, a real one, where I almost gave in, not because I thought they were right, but because I was tired of feeling like a target in my own home. Then Friday morning came. A white utility truck rolled up while I was working from home. Two men got out with a clipboard and a tool bag and walked straight to my side gate. Linda stood on the sidewalk behind them, phone raised, filming like a director watching a scene unfold. She didn't touch anything. She didn't have to. One worker tested the latch. The other crouched and started loosening hinge hardware, slow and methodical, like this was routine. Something snapped in me, not anger exactly, but clarity. I stepped outside and told them to stop. Calm voice, clear words, private property, no permission. The foreman held up a work order with my address on it. Gate access adjustment, owner non-compliance, bill to the HOA. Linda said loud enough for my camera to catch proceed. You're authorized. He's obstructing a safety inspection. That was it. That was the line they crossed. I took a photo of the work order in his hands, then called non-emergency police. I told them contractors were altering my gate without permission and that the HOA president was directing them. When the officer arrived, he separated everyone and asked Linda for proof of jurisdiction. She tried to talk fast about safety and community standards. He didn't debate philosophy. He asked for recorded documents. She didn't have them. He generated an incident number, wrote it on a card, and repeated it aloud for my camera. The workers left. Linda left last, still filming, still performing. I stood there looking at my partially loosened gate hands, shaking not from fear anymore, but from the realization that this was bigger than burgers. That afternoon, I stopped doubting myself. I requested a city fire inspection to create a neutral record and sent the HOA a certified letter demanding preservation of all records related to my address. Emails, work orders, minutes, vendor instructions, everything. The city inspector came, checked clearances, fuel storage, and emailed a summary, no violations observed. I saved it. Linda escalated sideways. She filed a nuisance complaint with the city describing commercial cooking and crowds. The city forwarded it to me with metadata showing it didn't even originate near my street. Then she contacted my mortgage escrow company, triggering a templated insurer letter. I responded with the city inspection attached and saved the entire chain. A week later, a board member from the HOA texted me quietly. He sent a screenshot of draft minutes Linda had circulated internally. One line jumped off the page. Legal counsel advised my parcel might be outside HOA jurisdiction. Proceed with safety notice as deterrent. Deterrent, not enforcement. I hired a real estate attorney that same day. He reviewed my timeline and evidence and said, "We're going to stop this, clean it up, and make it expensive." Linda scheduled a compliance hearing at the clubhouse, complete with hired security. She wanted a controlled room and a controlled narrative. I showed up with my attorney. She opened strong, accusing me of refusing reasonable directives. My attorney stood and dismantled it piece by piece. Parcel map, city inspection, police incident, vendor testimony. When the contractor confirmed Linda authorized the gate work, even the security officer told her to stop talking. The next morning we filed in county court. A packet, not a rant. Video stills, emails, incident card, inspection clearance, certified receipts. That's how we ended up back where I started this story. 9:17 a.m. A judge asking why HOA vendors were touching my gate. There was no clean answer. The temporary restraining order was granted. Communication stopped. Notices were rescinded. Fees were reimbursed. Linda was removed as president and barred from office. A week later I grilled again. Same yard, same quiet. No celebration, just silence earned the hard way. And the lesson was simple. HOAs don't lose to yelling, they lose to records they can't outrun.